BJ Mafia was popping. Now we are about 25 games into this NBA season, and it has been an inconsistent, wild start to this NBA season, one I have not seen in a very long time. We have teams that were supposed to be in the lottery that are exceeding expectations right now, with teams like the Indiana Pacers and the Utah Jazz. We had teams that started off really slow with teams like the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers, but they've now rounded up and picked things back up. But one thing has remained constant, and one thing has remained sure, that Jayson Tatum is the front runner for this year's MVP. The season ends today. Jayson Tatum is your MVP. Now, as I record this video, the Boston Celtics currently sit with a record of 22-7. The Celtics have the #1 record in the Eastern Conference, and to me, until proven otherwise, this is the best team in the NBA after they represented the Eastern Conference in last year's NBA Finals, and Jayson Tatum has been the leading horse as to why the Boston Celtics have been so successful. And I'm gonna break this video down into 3 topics, talking about why Jayson Tatum should be this year's MVP. So let's get into the first topic. So the first thing that we gotta talk about with Jayson Tatum is obviously statistically how he has played this season so far. And Jayson Tatum in 28 games this season is averaging 30 points a game, which is a new career high, 8 rebounds a game, career high, 4 assists. He's shooting about 47% from the field, 36% from behind the arc, and which is great efficiency considering the fact that he's taking about 9 threes a game. His player efficiency rating sits at about a 24.6. He has a career high in his true shooting percentage at 61%, and he's still chipping in a block and a steal per game. And might I mention that Jayson Tatum leads the entire association in plus minus, one of the most telling stats in all of the NBA when he's on and off the court. The Boston Celtics are a plus 226 with Jayson Tatum on the floor versus him off, which is clearly the lead in the NBA. The next closest player would be Jrue Holiday for the Milwaukee Bucks with a plus minus of 181. That is a huge discrepancy there, and Jayson Tatum has been phenomenal this year, basically career highs all across the board. And let's talk about Jayson Tatum and some of his performances as of recently. Now, the Boston Celtics are coming off a huge road stretch where they've basically been on the road the last 10 days, and Jayson Tatum has had his inconsistencies on the road, even though he's coming off a huge performance last night, dropping 43 points, but Jayson Tatum has still produced, and the stats are there to back it up. Jayson Tatum in these last couple of games, let me read you some of these stats. Tatum 44-9-6 versus the Lakers, 20-11-4, 18-7-2, 25-5-2, 31-12-3, 29-11-1, 14-12-3, 49-11-3, and 35-3-3. And Jayson Tatum has been on an absolute tear, and this is something that we've came to expect out of him. When you have asserted yourself into that top 10 upper echelon superstar caliber player, especially leading the Boston Celtics to the NBA Finals, this is what we expect out of the best player on the best team in the NBA, consistently on a night in and night out basis, and he's there to back it up. Let's talk about the second topic. So getting into the second topic, now that we've moved on from Jayson Tatum individually speaking, let's talk about the impact that he's had on the Boston Celtics this season, because I will be the first to say I did not expect the Celtics to continue to have the #1 record in the Eastern Conference after Ime Udoka got suspended prior to the season beginning. I thought that they would regress just a little bit and that they would take a step back, but they've done a great job picking up the slack. And let's talk about where the Celtics actually rank statistically speaking as a whole. So the Boston Celtics currently rank #1 in the NBA in points per game. They are #3 in field goal percentage, #2 in three-point percentage. They're #1 in offensive efficiency, and they are #2 in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio. They are doing a great job offensively speaking. They are a juggernaut on that side of the ball, and you got to think that they're doing this all without Robert Williams, Time Lord, because when he comes back, he's going to help improve the defensive side of the ball, and they're doing this all without Danilo Gallinari, who I thought was an amazing pickup this season, but he obviously had that ACL injury prior to the season beginning. On the flip side, the Boston Celtics, defensively speaking, they're not as prowess, but like I said, once they get Time Lord back, that's going to be a huge help defensively. So they are #13 in defensive points per game, #14 in defensive efficiency, and like I said, all of those numbers will significantly go up once they get a guy back like Robert Williams, because Al Horford is very good. He's important to the Boston Celtics and what the philosophy of this team is, but he's not Robert Williams defensively speaking, and we know what Al Horford is and what he still can be, but you just can't get that from him on a night in and night out consistent basis. Jayson Tatum has made a huge impact on the Celtics this year, and even while he's getting his numbers individually speaking, he's doing it on both sides of the court. you clearly see it's still having an impact on winning basketball and on the Celtics overall. Jayson Tatum is making yet another amazing impact on the Boston Celtics. Let's get into the third topic. Now, the third topic, I want to talk about a little bit of his accolades, and also you make your name in the playoffs because that's where superstars are built. So talking about his accolades, Jayson Tatum is a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. I believe he was actually first-team All-NBA last year. He was the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals MVP last year versus the Miami Heat in what was an amazing 7-game series that went down to the wire. And Jayson Tatum was also 2017-18 All-NBA Rookie Team. Jayson Tatum has every accolade that you want to see at such a young age, and the way he has dominated the league and gotten better every single year. The only thing missing off of Jayson Tatum's resume is his MVP, which he rightfully deserves this year. And secondly, it's getting to that ring and winning Finals MVP, which is something that I think he's deserving of. I do want to stay on a little bit of a side tangent. I know that there's always been the conversation Jayson Tatum has ascended Kawhi Leonard. I want to say I got to still wait to see it, because while he has done it and I've seen improvement out of him, I think it's still a little too early to say, considering the fact that Kawhi Leonard is still an all-time great and Kawhi Leonard has been a 2-time Finals MVP. Let me see Tatum get that ring or take the Celtics back to the finals, and let's have that conversation again. But as of right now, I'll give Kawhi that benefit. But when we talk about Jayson Tatum and him asserting himself into that upper echelon, top 10 of players, and really defining himself as a superstar, he proved that to me last year. He lamented it, and I think that was very evident, because in the playoffs is where you make your name. You can be a great regular season player, but you have to dominate in the playoffs, and he sure enough did that. He swept the Brooklyn Nets, and while the Boston Celtics were, yes, the better team, Jayson Tatum put on an absolute show. He basically sunned Kevin Durant in that series. They beat the Brooklyn Nets in the 2021 postseason, and he has had all-time career playoff performances that we have just awed over, because Jayson Tatum is just that good. So actually talking about Jayson Tatum and some of his amazing playoff performances, we have consistently seen him in 74 career playoff games just absolutely be an amazing player. He's a great playoff performer, averaging about 23 points a game, 44% from the field, 37% from deep, 1 steal, 4 assists a game, and 1 block a game. And we've seen him have historic career playoff runs and also have amazing career playoff games. In 2022 versus the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference semifinals, he had that 46-piece on Giannis and the Bucks. In 2021 versus the Brooklyn Nets, he also had that 40-point game. Like, Jayson Tatum has consistently asserted himself into that upper echelon of players, and I know it really doesn't have much to do with this year's, MVP argument, because there's been a lot of great guys like Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Devin Booker, the list goes on, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, there's plenty of great MVP caliber players, but I do believe that the model of consistency that you've seen from Jayson Tatum this year, and the way that he's got the Boston Celtics playing, and he's getting his numbers all while the Boston Celtics are still extremely efficient on both sides of the ball. Jayson Tatum, you cannot say enough about what he's done. I think he is rightfully and deserving so of this year's MVP, but you know what? It is also December. We'll have to wait to see who's actually leading the MVP race in April. But as of right now, Jayson Tatum is this year's MVP. That's just my 2 cents on it. And before I end this video, I do want to say, if you guys want the best Celtics coverage out there, man, you guys have to go follow CelticsRiley on Twitter. I will link to him down below. Easily the best Celtics fan page out there, man. Shout out to my guy Riley, consistently putting out great content. Shout out to him. But NBA fans and Celtics fans, if you guys enjoyed today's video, man, make sure you guys drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me and the channel out tremendously. And if you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more NBA and Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And also make sure you guys do go follow me on my socials as well, at TheBrettJames1. The link tree will be in the description down below. But thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ. I'm out, y'all. Peace.